Good morning, evening, night. I don't know. Anyway, it's Christmas, by the way, when you're listening to this or when it's released. So,
Tis the
happy
season.
Christmas. Yes, it is. Also, I have a guest, and it's the Gumshoe Gamer podcast. Wow, this intro is just completely different than anything else before, but that's okay because it's the end of the year, and I'm just super freaking happy, okay? Listen, we deserve this.
Yeah, especially after like this entire year, man. Like, goddamn.
But yeah, Nick is back
Hello, I've returned once again.
for the end of the year podcast, which I guess is like a thing. Well, it's really funny because originally there was a plan for me to do two for December, but the problem with that is that one would be really short, and I just didn't feel like that. So instead, we're gonna make this one probably not gonna be that long because surprisingly there wasn't really a lot of news to cover, which is great. It's great for me. So with that,
Makes it easier for you.
well, okay, sure, it makes it a little bit easier. But yeah. Anyway, hello, Nick. How have you been? Are you glad to finally be done with 2020?
Man, dude, like, I mean, because I'm still in college around now, and at the time of this recording, I did just finish up this semester, and I mean, it wasn't that hard adjusting to online schooling and everything, but let's just say that my experience was hit or miss with some professors. Just leave it at
Oh,
that.
geez, yeah, I could imagine, especially if you haven't been used to online schooling. It's like completely different than
Well,
what you would
well,
normally
not even
expect.
just that. There was just like, I had 3 classes this semester, and 2 of the professors they adjusted well, and one of them didn't. So we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to go into the details.
But yeah, anyway, have you been able to play some games though during your
Oh man.
lockdown?
Oh god. Well, I have been doing a challenge run of Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, where I did this with Kingdom Hearts 1 actually. I want to say it was last year. But the challenge run basically is you play on Proud mode, which is hard difficulty for those that don't know. And I don't equip any armor or accessories throughout the whole run. And I stick with base Kingdom Key throughout the entire game. And I mean, it's been fun, but there have also been its fair share of challenges, namely Sephiroth, Zigbar, and Lingering Well. Those-
Lingering well.
God. Anyway, other than that, I've been playing Devil Survivor 1. I think I'm actually pretty close to finishing the game, but it's been a while since I last played it, so that's going to be interesting. And
Okay.
last thing, I've been replaying Persona 5 Royal. I played it at the beginning of this year, but I'm replaying it again because 1, I wanted to, and 2, I'm showing my little brother the game, so we're kind of like doing the playthrough along with it. So, yeah. That's what I've been doing. What about you?
Well, before we get into that, I have to know just how different or difficult would you say Kingdom Hearts 2 is with this challenge run?
Compared to
Is it
Kingdom
like
Hearts 1?
significantly? Yeah, is it a significant challenge, or is it just like a little bit harder? I guess is what I'm trying to know.
I mean, in some cases, it probably is a little harder. But then again, it was with the Kingdom Hearts 1 run, I wasn't keeping track of the death count. So I don't know. I mean, I actually want to say that 2 is actually easier in some cases because like the final boss of Kingdom Hearts 1 legit required me to use all my elixirs to win the fight. Kingdom Hearts
Oh,
2,
damn.
I just jumped into it and I was like, okay, I'm fine. So yeah, the challenge run with 1 was definitely a lot tougher than with 2.
And I can probably just chalk that up to the fact that in 2 you have drive forms and you'd be able to use that, and
You have
also
drive
the
forms,
combat.
you have limits, you have summons, you have more versatility with 2 compared to 1. So yeah.
And I mean the combat is just way better, so there's that.
That too, yes.
Yeah. Kingdom Hearts 2 is a good game, by the way.
It's
really good.
it's my favorite.
I was very surprised when I got to it. Well, I guess very surprised in the sense of the leap from 1 to 2 was it's noticeable
Yeah.
in terms of just like the combat in itself.
See, that's what a year's sleep will do to a man.
but oh yeah, and also being able to be Roxas, but
Oh
Roxas
yeah.
can just do it and naturally. So,
Side note: Roxas is a great character. Just gonna throw that out there.
but who is Roxas? He's just Ventus. I mean, like literally. So
God, can we
who's this
not get
freaking
into
Roxas
that
guy?
right now, please?
I don't know. I don't know who this Roxas guy is, guys. But
Listen, I love
anyway.
I love Kingdom Hearts, but goddamn, the plot is and characters and everything. It's like combined. It's just a convoluted mess, and it didn't need to be.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
know that. So you did mention Devil Survivor. I know you played the second game. You said you really liked it.
yes.
How is the first game in comparison?
Okay. So in terms of gameplay, it's relatively the same. So I was able to adjust pretty well. But in terms of story and progression, I think one actually gets the story end better. But in terms of progression, this is probably like that my first experience with an SMT game being an SMT game where you have to do this one specific thing to move on. And if you can't do that one specific thing to move on, you're basically forced to restart over and over again until you get it right. Because I was stuck on one fight for longest time, and I was just frustrated. But I mean, I honestly though I think the Devil Survivor 1's story and cast is probably better than 2's, even though 2's cast is still great. But I don't know. I think I'm still of the mindset that 2 is a better experience because things are just a
Just
little bit more.
overall.
It's things that are more streamlined in 2 than in 1.
Yeah.
But I can see why a lot of people like 1, even though I
I don't
haven't
get
finished
why
it
a
yet.
lot of people hate 2, but I guess that's just
I would just chalk it up to like cast, honestly,
probably.
which is weird because I liked 2's cast, but whatever.
Yeah, I like 2's cast a lot. Though I always kind of question why the protagonists of each Devil Survivor game have to look so similar.
Well, there's only been 2.
Yeah. So each.
Sorry.
Doesn't my point's still valid.
No,
Anyway.
no. See, Devil Survivor 1's protagonist looks like the Persona 3 protagonist. Listen.
Okay, true. And then Devil Survivor 2's protagonist is Persona 3 protagonist, but with the bunny hoodie.
Or Joker. Or Joker.
A white version. Joker's outfit's all black. This is all white.
Oh my god.
Wait a minute, isn't that just a catchy? Oh crap. Oh wait. Anyway, but yeah, I've heard that the super bosses in Devil Survivor 1 are a really just almost unfair challenge.
I haven't even bothered to do that.
So,
I'm just going through the story, honestly. That's what I'm most interested in.
But yeah, I always forget that SMT games have super bosses, which is just which I only like figured out that this is the common thing when I was going through Digital Devil Saga, and someone reminded me that the Demi Fiend, the protagonist of Nocturne, is a super boss, and he's like notorious for being one of the hardest super bosses in all of SMT.
Well, considering what happens in Nocturne, doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah. I just find it very funny that when you fight him, it just plays the normal battle encounter theme, almost like you're just a normal encounter to him.
Oh.
So I'm like, okay,
Well,
I get it.
You say that, but I mean, they're DLC fights in Royal, but when you fight Minato and Yuna Kami in Royal, the normal battle theme plays for them. So it's kind of the same thing.
Who's this Joker character?
Who's this Joker character? Where's Batman? Anyway.
Yeah, we're having a Batman, guys. Where's our Persona Batman? That's the next Persona game. It's surprised it's a Batman game now.
Oh boy.
They got tired of all the turn-based combat. People kept complaining. I don't know.
kept
Jeez.
complaining.
But yeah. Anyway, you asked what I was playing. So the Devil May Cry 5 Virgil DLC finally dropped. I know if I was one of those people that could have gotten a PS5 or Xbox Series X, I could have gotten the special edition of Devil May Cry 5 that came with Virgil and a couple of other upgrades. I didn't feel like it, so I just waited for the DLC, and it dropped. Still a bit like hung up that it's $5 for just this character. But given that this character has a lot of love put into him and he's incredibly fun to play, sure, I don't mind spending just $5 on some DLC.
Yeah, it sounded like when you were testing it out while I was still going through the Kingdom Hearts 2 challenge run, it sounded like you were having fun.
Oh no, yeah, that's Virgil's the Virgil DLC is basically just going through the main story missions with Virgil without any story content until the end, which is very surprising. Surprised me how they did the ending. Which, well, I was gonna say spoiler, but I mean, come on, it's not really like that big. But basically, the ending of Devil May Cry 5, normally you would be Dante and you fight Virgil, and then you're kind of at equal power. Then Nero comes in and he awakens to his power. Get the revelation that Nero is actually Virgil's son. That means Virgil banged someone. I don't know when that happened. But it had happened somehow. Okay, cool. And the fact is that if you're playing on Virgil's side, though, you get unique. You actually fight Dante 2 times, like a 2-phase boss fight, and there's unique dialogue and unique cutscenes for that. Where Dante even questions like, "What? Well, I guess you were young ones too." And I laughed so hard at that line.
Oh my god, that's incredible! I love it.
So, yeah, the ending fight is also a lot harder because, surprise, surprise, Dante is just an incredibly hard fight, but also it was very rewarding beating him, even though I did have to use a gold orb because he surprised me like numerous times. I was not expecting him to be so fast. But yeah, I really like the Virtual DLC. I think it's really fun to play as. Probably my favorite Virgil to play since 4, actually. My biggest problem with 4 is he felt very tacked on, but the unique mechanic of his concentration meter, which is like this thing where if you're locked onto an enemy or you successfully attack without missing, then your attacks will grow in power and be faster. But if you get hit, it's like drained completely. Or if you start missing attacks, then it starts getting drained. So basically, it rewards players that are pretty much already good by making it easier for you to hit enemies and having better attacks. It's back in 5, but it's given like more. I feel like it's given a lot more purpose, and yeah, I was very very surprised. It's a good game.
Sounds very high risk, high reward sort of situation.
Yeah, Virgil also takes like way more damage, I think, overall. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't like looked into it, but I'm pretty sure that Virgil takes more damage than any of the other cast members. So that's just me. I've also been playing the PC version of Doom Eternal because that got on the PC Game Pass. And quick aside, this is all I want to say about that, because I technically talked about this game back when I played it for the first time on the podcast this year. So all I will say is playing Doom Eternal with PC controls really makes me like the game even more. And yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. It's good. Still not my game of the year.
Oh,
But
interesting.
good.
All right,
Good.
well,
Really good.
I'm interested to know what your game of the year is.
Well, we'll get to that. Stay tuned, guys. Also, because of the announcement of The World Ends With You Neo, which is not Persona 5. Sorry, guys.
Oh God.
I decided, yeah, you know what? I have The World Ends With You, and I never actually beat it. So I should probably get on that. So I've been going through the Switch version of the game because that's the one that I own. Sorry to all the people because the DS just playing it already. I'm like, yeah, the DS would be a much better experience. It's just unfortunate that the combat in this game is so geared towards it. You would have to do everything on the touchscreen, and it being on a smaller screen just makes more sense. The touch controls are fine, and like I don't mind playing it, but it is kind of weird that this is like the one Switch game that I have to play like handheld.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you could actually still play it in docked or not, but
No,
it
you
sounds like
can, but you're using one Joy-Con and you're using it as a pointer to do everything that you would.
oh,
So it's really
that
not recommended.
yeah, that
It's
sounds
really
like a
not.
hassle and a half.
Mm-hmm. But I was very surprised with just how fluid everything felt, even on a touchscreen. And yeah, I finally get to use the Switch screen as a touchscreen. It's like the one game that I own that has that. Unless Mario Odyssey does, I'm not sure.
I think the only time that I've used the Switch touchscreen was when I wanted to make or test out the stage builder in Smash, but that's it.
Oh, right, yeah, no. I also used it. Oh, yeah, no, that's a lie because I do have Mario Maker 2, and I used
Oh
it
yeah, that
for
too.
making that. So yeah, the Mario Maker 2 was the first time I actually used the touchscreen. Like, oh yeah, this will be a lot easier making levels. Oh, rip that game. By the way, so disappointing that it couldn't catch on like the first one.
Yeah, see, the problem with Mario Maker 2 is that they were missing the amiibo costumes, alright?
Honestly, you might joke about that, but that is a big problem because
Oh no, that's not a joke. I genuinely think that.
oh,
Honestly.
okay, good.
Because that was one of the best things about the original Mario Maker, is that you just take the amiibos, you scan them in, and then, hey, look, you can add more to your levels. You can play as other characters.
And you
way.
can make entire levels just based around that character.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what really I think made Mario Maker at least the community a lot more engaged. Where 2 is the better overall experience because there's a lot of quality of life improvements. And I actually really do like the extra mode. Yeah, the one extra mode.
The Zelda mode.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, no. Well, I was referring to the 3D world. And
oh, right.
That's
the
it.
different style, you mean, yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's called Styles. Totally forgot it's called Styles. But yeah, you know, the extra styles.
See, that's annoying, alright? It's like extra styles and there's just one.
There's one.
You'd think they'd add something like Mario 2 USA or something like that to that, but nope. It's just Mario 3D World.
Yeah, and I know you get out your comments of it being a black sheep game, whatever. You would still play levels of that. Come on, I mean, it's still a fun game, Mario 2 USA.
Yeah,
like come on.
I mean, it's the best game ever, baby.
Yeah, exactly. But that's kind of where I guess I stand on that game. Anyway, I was talking about The World Ends With You. Wow, I totally just lost track there. But I think The World Ends With You has probably one of my favorite art styles. I think this is it really highlights Nomura's strengths and also his weaknesses, but mainly his strengths. It is kind of funny because the first time I saw the cast was when I was watching cutscenes of Dream Drop Distance.
That was my first exposure to the cast as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I was playing Dream Drop Distance.
Yeah. But and it's kind of interesting how kind of natural they fit with Kingdom Hearts style. And I mean, then again, Nomura, so of
Yeah,
course,
it's Nomura, so
but still, it's like that was the first time seeing the cast in 3D because the entire game is just 2D sprites.
oh yeah, that's right.
Um, which thankfully, I will say the upscale job for the Switch port. It's not like most sprite upscale HD ports where it's all blurry and they use weird filters and it just does not look good. No, it actually does.
It's properly upscaled.
It's properly upscaled
Nice.
for once. It might also help just because everything has thick outlines, so
Yeah.
that's probably why it looks a lot better. But yeah, the characters really pop, and the combat is insanely fun. It's one of those things though it's a little hard for me to describe exactly how you play the game, besides just tapping it. But the game does kind of carry you through like what certain things do, and basically almost every other fight they will introduce something new that you can do, and then we'll show you how you can do it.
So it sounds like one of those experiences where you have to play it for yourself to truly understand it.
It is, which is why I can see kind of why it became a bit of a cult game, because it's not conventional in any sort of way. Like 100% is not. And it's a little bit hard to describe to people that have no idea what the heck this game is.
I'd imagine it's also hard to recommend then.
I wouldn't say it's hard to recommend because it is very easy to get into. It's just whether or not you can get into it.
Okay.
And that's something you just kind of have to play it to really see. Because you can't really get the feel of the game unless you actually play it. It's just one of those games. Which is it's kind of sad, but I get it. I would still recommend it. Like I still recommend it, even if the Switch version I think is a little bit more common, and it does have some extras, not a lot, but it does have some extra content. But if you do have your DS, I think the DS version can be found pretty cheap now. So yeah. Though keep in mind you're probably only going to get the cart because
nobody believes in boxes or manuals apparently.
Yep. Well, anyway, that's all we have for the games, so I guess it's time to get into the headlines.
All right, what's up first?
Persona 5 Strikers is coming for real.
Baby. Finally.
It's a thing.
Finally.
Oh no, sorry, Persona 5 Scramble.
No, you see, the full title is Persona 5 Scramble: The Phantom Strikers. But that's okay.
The Phantom Strikes Back.
The Phantom. I mean, I'm excited for it, as the Persona guy here. But I mean, why did it have to take like a full year or almost a full year to like come out? Because that seems like a running theme with Atlas.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's technically not uncommon. I would have said it would have probably been out a lot sooner if this wasn't 2020.
It did. Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Like for sure, I honestly think it
would you say the exact same thing about the Nocturne remaster? Or
no, because that one it's a pretty quick turnover because that's coming like in a month.
Oh, right.
Or so, probably a little more than a month, but yeah, that's coming really soon. That's what I would imagine, because Atlas tends to put out Japan stuff and then we get it later. That's kind of just always been how they've done it, except for Catherine. I think Catherine was came out really quickly to the West.
I think it was a worldwide release, right?
Maybe? Yeah, I think it was worldwide release, which was very different.
Which is the same thing as happening with SMT5, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's interesting too.
Yeah, but it's like, why can't you do that with every game? But okay.
Yeah, there's got to be some reason. I'm 50% sure it's probably legal.
Okay.
Yeah. But
But the point is though, Strikers is finally coming over here. I'm excited. I'm pretty sure you're excited too.
oh yeah, you can only get the Steelbook version if you have a Switch though, which is baffling to
And
me.
if you only if you order it from Best Buy.
Oh, it's best. The Steelbook is a Best Buy Switch is exclusive.
Yes.
The what?
Yes. I'm not joking about that. That's what it is.
What the heck,
So I don't understand it either, man. I don't understand it.
You know GameStop isn't doing well when even they can't get the Steelbook. I go to Best Buy to get the freaking Steelbook now.
Yeah, but why only Switch? Like you would think that they would,
I don't understand. And you would think if it'd be a Steelbook, it would be the PS4.
yeah, because that was like the thing for Persona 5 Royal. So it's like why not with PS? Oh, whatever.
I don't know. But if you don't care about Steelbooks, if you're like me, where it's just like, yeah, it's kind of cool, but maybe, you can at least still get it on the PC, which came as a big shock to me.
It was a big shock, yeah. It's like, okay, we knew it was coming to Switch. We knew it was coming to PlayStation 4. Didn't know it was coming to Steam. So when the trailer dropped, or excuse me, when it got leaked, and then they officially posted it later.
Yeah.
That was actually a very big surprise. Like, but I think that's also just due to like Persona 4 Golden doing well in terms of sales on Steam. So that lists are like, okay, people want to buy our games on Steam, so sure.
Which kind of makes me think that the Nocturne remake might also be on Steam later. I can see them porting it. Well, I mean, I probably can. It depends on if they're managing to actually fix that game before it gets over to us.
Oh boy.
So there's that. But Strikers looks like it's going to be a pretty fun Muso game, from what we've been shown.
And surprisingly, that will actually be my first Muso game because I haven't played anything like that.
Yeah, it'll probably be mine too. I was thinking about picking up the new Hyrule Warriors, but I'm not that big into Zelda, even though I did like the demo that I played. It's probably one of those that, like, man, if this wasn't Nintendo, I'd be like, I'd wait for a sale, but like it's Nintendo, so
sales. Those never happen with Nintendo games.
Yeah, I gotta kind of like pick and choose when it comes to Switch games, which is unfortunate, but it's very unfortunate. And yet, I had no problems picking up Astral Chain day one because I need that. I'll die on that hill that it's an amazing game. So
hey, I haven't played it, but I'll take your word for it though.
Play with the Joy-Cons detached. That's how I recommend. Which is not how most people would recommend it. I can see a lot of people recommending playing it with like a Pro controller, but I actually really like the Joy-Cons just floating there, because basically one Joy-Con is for your stand, quote unquote. That's what I call it. It's a freaking stand, okay? And
no, it's your persona. See?
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, your persona. And then one controls your
Oh.
character, and they both have actions. They both have different attacks you can do at different times. So that's why I said, like, it kind of feels natural to me to have one hand just be controlling one like half, and the other one controlling the player character.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
That's why I think like it's innately just a Switch game. Like, this is exactly what I think of when I think of Switch only game using the gimmick of the console pretty well.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, Strikers looks like it's gonna be really fun. The little bit of music that I have listened to, and the remix of Blooming Villain, which was amazing.
Blooming Villain remix. Oh my god. Love it. So good.
Yeah, but also this is a direct sequel to Persona 5. Oh, sorry. To Persona 5 story. Whatever that means.
I don't want to get into semantics right now because my stance on that. Whatever.
Yeah, Well, personally, I think it's going to be one of those. Well, this technically takes place after Royal, but we never address anything that actually happened in Royal.
That's what I'm thinking too, honestly. That's just how it feels because I mean, to me, okay, I guess I'll get into it now, but it's like with me, it's like Royal is like the new type of quote unquote canon, just like how Persona 4 Golden is the new canon. So, that's just how I see it, but there are people out there that probably would argue against that. I don't
Which
know.
is weird. But like, and yeah, the Royal, like, here's the thing: there is a reason. You can make reasons for why Royal characters wouldn't show up.
And
Um,
there are reasons as to why Royal specific things don't show up in Strikers given how Royal ends. I'm not going to say that, obviously, because spoilers. But they do make it in a way where if you play Persona 5 Royal and then go into Strikers immediately after, it still makes sense. So,
mhm. I can see them adding Sumi as a DLC character though later.
uh, if they do, then that's like a day one purchase for me.
But that all depends on if they're even gonna put DLC in this game. I mean, knowing
That is
Atlas,
true.
probably, but you never know for a spinoff. And it's in like a fighting game where like that's to be expected. This is a Muso game where like
Yeah.
Muso games tend to have DLC, but it tends to
I
come like
I think the
after.
most that they would do is like make a music pack.
Well,
'Cause I
like there
think
is DLC for the game. That's what the
yeah,
Deluxe Edition has.
yeah.
Um, but it's just like
But you're talking about character
yeah.
specific.
But we're talking
Okay.
about like actual character, which some Muso games I know have. So it's possible, but we would have to see. I'm not I'm not saying it's a definite like it's gonna happen, guys. It's just more like it's most likely.
Oh,
But yeah, I'm looking forward to Strikers. I'll probably pick it up. If I do, it will either be the PC or Switch version. Not entirely sure
I'm
which
gonna go with
one.
Switch because portability. That's just my argument.
Now, see, I probably would have done that, but knowing that I have like a good enough PC that can just run it, I'm like, yeah, maybe. I'll see. I'll
I mean
see.
that's fair. That's fair.
hmm
If anything, I could probably just get the PC port later.
Yeah. Well, in any case, we also got. I guess we got to talk about this because it's like a thing that happened on the Game Awards.
Oh
The Last
no.
of Us 2 Game Awards, guys. Sponsored by Naughty Dog.
No, I thought you were gonna say The Last of Us 2 Game Awards, sponsored by The Last of Us 2.
Well, also sponsored by The Last of Us
No,
2
so that,
with
okay.
with special guest The Last of Us
That's
2.
part two. Oh man, God, how many awards did that game freaking win?
There was like 5.
Ugh. Yeah,
Um,
I don't
yeah,
know. I mean,
it got Game of the Year for some reason. Game direction for some freaking reason.
mm,
Narrative for some reason.
mm.
Performance, which makes sense. Uh, and audio design for some reason.
Okay.
Oh no,
Yeah.
and oh wait, nope, 6 because it also got
Oh.
accessibility,
Oh.
which that makes sense.
But I mean, you while we were watching the Game Awards, you told me like why it shouldn't be winning stuff like direction and the like because of the whole thing that was happening behind the scenes. So to me, it made no sense. Like, why is this game winning like this many freaking awards?
Well, the thing about the award show, especially for this one, is that the media outlets tend to have a lot more say.
Mm.
And they really liked Last of Us Part 2. A lot of them going out to saying that Last of Us Part 2 was kind of overhated, which, I mean, maybe in some camps, but not all camps. I feel like that's just very dismissive of problems people had with the game. Uh, to just say that like, oh, well, you're just hating on the game because X, Y, and Z. Uh, which is like, no, there are legitimate reasons why people wouldn't like the game, but at the same time, there are legitimate reasons why someone would like the game. So like that's why I say, okay, if it's nominated, sure, it makes sense, and the performances are great. The game looks amazing. The accessibility stuff, that is really great, like really great.
But winning game of the year though,
winning game of the year, and especially best direction is questionable. That honestly, to compare it with something recent, that's like if CD Projekt Red would earn best game direction for Cyberpunk with everything going on now. It's like that exact same thing.
I know we're gonna get to Cyberpunk, but
yeah, God. It's like, really? This is best game direction?
This is best game direct? No. Also best narrative. Like 2.
Well, for narrative they had 13 Sentinels, which I mean probably could have won, but it's the only thing that got nominated, so probably not. That was a long shot. I'm surprised that like actually I guess I'm not that surprised that Final Fantasy VII Remake didn't win, given that people had problems with that game too. So and Japan bias, which I swear to God is a thing. At least a little bit. I don't know, from Soft kind of like gets around that. Hades was at least nominated, but I knew that was not going to win. So it was, for me, it was either like, okay, it's going to Last of Us Part 2 or Ghost of Tsushima. So,
which, going off of like people like actual gamers, I don't like using
WoW gamers.
All the gamers. No, from the fans. Ghost of Tsushima would have won.
Tsushima.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. But
yeah.
But that game won the fan popular vote, and
it also won art direction.
Yeah,
which is kind of amazing because that also went up against Hades, which I thought was going to win art direction for sure. I mean, have you seen the art in Hades?
Yes, I have, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. But anyway. Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, the one big winner from all of them was not The Last of Us Part 2, as much as they want you to think. In fact, it was Among Us. Them winning the two awards was a very wholesome moment.
Yes, it was.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
It was great. They deserve that though. They deserve those awards. It was great.
It beat Fall Guys, which I thought was going like But yeah, good. So I guess this was a disappointing one, but at least we can say there wasn't too much cringe comparatively speaking.
It started off great with the trailer drop of a certain long-haired pretty boy with a long sword.
Which I guess because you're saying that, we should probably get into that. Yo, Sephiroth's in the Smash now, and by the time that we're actually recording this, he actually is in Smash. Like, if you can play as him if you beat him in the Sephiroth challenge, and have the Fighter's Pass.
Yes, which I did like day one, like after the presentation. I mean, okay, what happened was that I took a nap, and then I woke up, went on Twitter, and then saw, oh, you can unlock Sephiroth right now. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I had no idea until you told me.
Yeah, because then I booted up Smash, and then I looked at the update notes, and it said, if you have Fighter's Pass and beat Sephiroth in the limited challenge, you get him now. And I'm like, wait a minute, what?
I'm surprised
so then I tested it out, and then boom, there you go.
Yeah, I'm very surprised it wasn't like a you have to beat him on very hard, because reasons.
No, you had to beat him on like any difficulty. Like I went easy, normal, then very hard, and once I beat him on easy, then it's just like Sephiroth joined the battle. I'm like, well, that was easy.
I did very hard first try. Rob 12 seconds.
God.
And I was like, okay, I'm good.
And then I won very hard with Sephiroth just dodging off the edge of the of the stage, just killing himself.
It's like, yeah, you know what? I'm done with this. Bye.
Wasn't after like 10 or 15 attempts trying to fight him legitimately though. But he just was like, okay, fine, you win.
But yeah, I think Sephiroth is a great character. To not only to be added because we kind of need some more baddies. To be fair, I figured that we were probably going to get one added as DLC. I just didn't know what. Which is, but regardless, I also think that Sephiroth's moveset is pretty great, even if he has a lot of lag.
I don't mind the lag as much with his moves, but I guess that's just me. But he is fun to play though, and also it's great that Final Fantasy VII now has more than just 2 songs on its list.
Still, it still doesn't beat what they did for SNK, but you know, that's fine.
Yeah, how many freaking songs are there for like SNK?
I
Like
want
over
to say
30?
15, but I could,
15?
I might be a little less than that.
No, I thought it was more than 15. Yeah, whatever. It
But
doesn't
yeah,
matter.
still, that was very surprising.
The
especially
point
since a lot of
is
them didn't
that
even-
Final Fantasy VII has more song representation in Smash now, which is great.
and 2 stages.
It's in 2 stages.
So there.
We're also beginning
also-
some new spirits too.
Oh yeah. Well,
But that's
anyway.
on the actual day of release for Sephiroth, when he just unlocks automatically.
Also, sorry, all you Geno fans, but he will not be in. And I guess sorry for all you Sora fans, because you're probably not going to get another Square Enix rep. So sorry for all you 2B fans. But I guess you. Oh, I guess you were.
See, now you're just going too far, buddy.
Well, okay. Well, hold up. You're not technically wrong. We did get a silver-haired sword wielder from Square Enix. So technically, you're not wrong. You look at it from that angle.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted Sora more than Sephiroth, but I'll take Sephiroth because like that trailer was hype as hell.
As we know, Sephiroth appeared in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, and then after you beat him, Sora goes, Cloud and Sephiroth went to go fight a great battle, and it's like,
Yeah, see? Smash Brothers Ultimate is a direct sequel to Kingdom Hearts 2.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, because Sephiroth never comes back in any Kingdom Hearts game, right?
He's only appeared in 1 and 2 as the super boss fights, and then he gets referenced along with Cloud at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, they're referencing to Square Enix characters and not, but you know.
That got me excited too. Like, side note, that got me excited with 3 because I'm like, oh, they might actually bring back the Final Fantasy characters, and nope, they don't until Remind. And that. Ugh.
So yeah, I really like playing as Sephiroth. I think he's gonna be a pretty useful character. A lot of edge guarding too, which is nice.
No, don't even get me started with that. Anyway.
But yeah, our last piece of news, which we've hinted at, or I guess we can call it hinting, not really. Cyberpunk. What the heck is going on?
Oh god. Like I wasn't even interested in that, but I've seen the trailers and it does look cool, but the recent news about it getting pulled from PlayStation Store or the online PlayStation Store, that's a bit concerning.
No, not only that, it's also Microsoft.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, Xbox joined. Yeah, so the Xbox Store no longer has it too. Or
Wow.
oh no, sorry, it's not pulled, but they are extending the refund offer to for that. So it's not delisted, at least as of right now. As of when I am speaking this exact words.
Yeah, but watch, like as soon as we're done recording this, then it's gonna be like, oh yeah, it's got pulled down.
Yeah. And
But-
keep in mind, this is only for the last gen, or current gen, I guess.
Yeah,
version of the game.
because isn't it running fine on like PS5 and Steam and everything? Or is that wrong?
Define fine.
Oh no.
Better. Let's just say that it's running better. Yeah, better.
It's just,
and
okay.
those are the versions that end up getting patched the quickest because that's just what CD Projekt Red just knows more. They just know how to do PC.
So it just sounds like that from all angles. Like I only thought it was only for PS4 and Xbox.
No, it's like
One.
it's a whole thing. It's more of a problem for the people that wanted to get it or could only get it on like PS4 or Xbox One. It's a big problem for them.
It just sounds like it's unoptimized on all angles then, or it's just
it's buggy. I saw a clip of someone literally going to a T-pose. The game is first person, and yet the character model.
Oh wait, I think I saw that clip. Yeah.
I was how does that happen?
Oh my
I have
god,
no idea.
that is horrible.
I've never seen that happen before. So, the props to CT Project Red, but here's the thing. Games could come back from super buggy launches, and I think them extending the refund and trying their damnness to get a good apology out there at least should be credit to something. Now, I want to say that I think this is all their fault for at least even getting the game out at this point, and it's mainly their fault for just keeping like, we have a new release date. Just say that it's delayed. Don't give a date and just wait. It's like,
yeah. How long has this game been in development?
It's been like, I think it's 8 years since it's been announced.
I heard 8 or 9.
I think it was 8 years since it's been announced, but didn't because it was announced at an E3. But it wasn't like in development at that point. It was, here's our next project.
Okay.
That we're going to be working on, and we're in the pre-development phase.
So it's been 8 to 9 years, and it's still a buggy, glitchy mess.
And keep in mind, it was originally developed for the PS4 and Xbox One as well as PC. Yeah.
But okay.
And then those versions end up being like the worst. So
that makes no sense. Okay.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's confusing.
I feel like at this point, what they should have done is just cut their losses with a PS4 and Xbox One version, and just went, okay, we're going full next gen.
Right. Because that honestly sounds like that would fix most of the problems with what they're doing.
Because it seemed they also were more focused on testing those versions too as time progressed.
And yet they still turned out to be the worst.
Yeah, yet they're still like, oh no, we need to get these other versions out there too, which I think that was just a bad idea, like for starters.
Man, that's
they should have. It's like, surprisingly, it's like, yes, they should have delayed the game even more.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly think if it had just like a year, but more, and they didn't try to make it also work on also have a PS4 and Xbox One version, then a lot of these problems wouldn't. And then at least the majority of these problems wouldn't be here.
Is the game at least still playable, or is it?
Oh no, yeah, it is. I know a lot of people that are playing the game on their PC. Even some people that are playing the PS4 version and they haven't really experienced that much.
But it just sounds like the large majority are just.
It's the majority of people to a point that it's a problem. But yeah, I know a lot of I have a lot of people that are playing the PC version, whether it's the GOG version or Steam version, and they haven't experienced really anything. Some weird graphical glitches here and there, but nothing like game breaking. And people still say that it's a pretty good game. Surprisingly short, though, is something that I also hear for CG Project Red. I think it's like only I don't know. Someone told me they basically beat the game in like 70 hours, which doesn't seem much, but for a CG Project Red game and for how big this open world's supposed to be, it's surprisingly short. And then again, it's their first time, through the game, so that would make sense too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was kind of surprised, oh wow, really? That's that's shorter than Persona 5.
That's about as long as 3 or 4, honestly.
At least as long as At least as long as four golden, at the very
Yeah.
least. Because I don't know, because I don't know about you, but 3's not that long unless I guess you're you and you want to grind.
Yeah, I'll raise my hand because I did a lot of grinding in 3.
Yeah, three's major gameplay moments are you grinding. To be fair,
Yeah.
But if you don't really care that much about grinding, then you can get through the game pretty quickly.
Meh.
I said pretty quickly, not quickly, pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. Okay.
But yeah, that's just kind of the biggest problem with Cyberpunk right now, and it kind of sucks too because like a lot of people that I know have been really enjoying the game, and it's this thing of like this game's becoming so divisive, and I mean it already kind of was even before launch, with the terrible management that CG Projekt Red apparently had for the game, and a lot of their employees having to crunch when they specifically said that they weren't going to crunch. So yeah, so management was just that's a whole another issue, but geez, it's such an interesting turn of events because this is coming off the heels, well, past 8 years heels of The Witcher 3, which blew everything out of proportion from what the studio can do. But like I always think back to like this is technically their fourth game that they ever did. The Witcher stuff, the first Witcher game was their first game. And in their second game, the sequel to Witcher, Witcher 2, they pushed the graphics more than anything else. On their second game, they decided to do that to the point where even nowadays, if you want to run it on max settings on PC, you had to make sure you have a pretty powerful rig for that.
Oh, okay.
Like insanely powerful.
See, and this is why I say graphics aren't everything.
Oh no! In the Witcher 2 case, exactly. I mean that game does look pretty good, but some combat problems. Oh god, the combat is really rough.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, I hope that at the end of the day, all this stuff can somehow get the game to a good state, and then I can finally see what this game can offer without it being a buggy mess.
I mean, they did that with No Man's Sky, right? Where the game was
but that was like a whole different thing. That was literally like that was literally gameplay elements that they said that was going to be in there and was not. So literally the entire game needed an update. This is just it's a buggy mess. And a really buggy mess, but still like it's a buggy mess that shouldn't be here. So
all right.
It's more akin to like a Bethesda game, I guess, like Fallout 4, because I remember Fallout 4's launch being pretty abysmal. But even then, like I remember people. Oh God, what was it? There's like this one. I think it's the IGN review of Fallout 4 where they're like, oh man, there's a buggy mess. We've noticed that there's multiple crashes on every single version. Yeah, 8 out of 10.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, wait, no. See, that's IGN just pulling another IGN. Like, come on.
It's like, what? Okay, sure.
Buggy mess. 8 out of 10. All right. It's just like 7.8. Too much water. I don't know what's worse.
I can't.
I hate it here.
Well, hey, at least we know that Sonic Forces got a higher rank than Cyberpunk.
Oh my god.
That's an accomplishment to Sonic Forces.
That's an accomplishment. Oh my god.
Well, with that out of the way, I think it's time we get into the our last topic of discussion. this is something that I tend to do on the podcast generally when there isn't like a lot of news or just when like when I feel like it. Um, I I guess, but uh, given that this year was a bit all over the place and crazy, um, I kind of want to wind down and just talk about some of our favorite stuff that we play. It doesn't have to be from this year, uh, like released in this year, but you know, if you played a game that you liked, something on your backlog, you can post about it in the comments. Tell me about it, because I'm really interested in hearing about that. But that's what we're going to talk about right now.
Oh.
Um, so yeah, so Nick, is there a game that you played this year that it doesn't have to be released, but like in this year, um, but if you could mention like just one game that you played this year that was really just amazing that you didn't like maybe that was surprising to you or just yeah, it's
Hmm.
something like that.
Okay. Well, it's like I trying to think back, and the two games that are immediately pop into mind are actually Fire Emblem Three Houses and Devil Survivor 2. Honestly,
Oh yeah,
because
because you didn't play Three Houses the year it came out. You played it
no,
this
I
year.
didn't. That was actually a birthday gift this year.
Oh my god, that feels like it's so long ago.
I know, right? That hit me like a couple of days ago, or like earlier this week, where I was like thinking back on what happened this year, and I was like, wait a minute, that happened last year, right? I'm like, no, that happened earlier this year. Uh, it's bad. But no, yeah, those two just stand out to me the most because, I mean, Three Houses is such a great game. I mean, I've only played like the Golden Deer route. I need to play the other two routes, but from what I played, that's just my favorite Fire Emblem game. Is it
It's
just
easily the most accessible in
that
my
too? Yeah,
opinion. You don't really need to be a master at the game to enjoy it. Um, which was also true for Awakening, I guess, a little bit. But I feel like this even more so. Um, and yet, you know, they added a maddening difficulty in case you really want to.
and DLC,
Oh yeah,
the basement,
the added basement, which is very fun.
which I've still yet to get, but I think if I were to get that DLC, it would probably be after I do the other two routes. Um, which I should
Well,
probably
I
get
mean, the
to at some
DLC is
point.
basically its own separate story
Ah,
that
okay.
takes place in between. And then once you complete it, um, you get to recruit them as part of the main campaign. They have their own.
Ah, yeah. That's right. I remember you telling me about that.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, Three Houses and Devil Survivor 2 because Devil Survivor 2 was like I mean, it's similar in terms of gameplay with Fire Emblem. So, um, but yeah, it felt weird at first, but it's not really that weird when you get down to it because I don't know, the gameplay is really fun, and I still think that's my preferred Devil Survivor game out of the two. There's only two. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just a great game, and you know, you should play it. I'm doing a horrible job right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the game for me that like I would say was just very impactful just happened to also be released this year, and like I would put this as my game of the year, but it technically is what I like to call a shot for shot remake. Um,
Okay,
so
I think I know what you're gonna say
I'm
now.
not gonna put it, but freaking Xenoblade Chronicles
Yep, there it is.
was an amazing game, and by the end of it, I was just so blown away. It's one of those games that you finish and you're just in awe for like probably a good, at least I was like that for a good 15 minutes, just like contemplating this entire journey. I was never bored from a single second of it, even when I'm just going from point A to point B over like a huge overfield. I thought it was super great, and it's like no other, and it's weird because uh uh on the surface, this didn't look like a game that was super engaging gameplay wise, at the very least. Like I knew I was gonna like the story regardless. So this just from the amount of praise that this game has gotten, but I wasn't expecting me to also be really engaged with the combat. But to be fair, that's probably because I decided to go after some of the more harder challenges first, and that kind of taught me how to actually be good at the combat instead of just spam stuff. And when you get to that point, it's just there's like something that clicks. Where you're just like, this is an amazing game. I think for me, the point where I was like, oh yes, this is going to be amazing, was probably right when you leave the without spoiling, I guess. It's like when you start to venture out into the and discover more of the races outside the hums. And you find out kind of who are these Napon characters, and we start to learn a little bit more about the actual Monado itself. That was when like everything started to just hit super hard for me, and like this is going to be amazing, and it is, and the ending is amazing. The ending was it wholesome, actually. Like I was very surprised by just how well it just ended. It felt complete. And then there was that added thing that I don't want to talk about that much because it's there.
Well, is the added thing really that bad, or
it's just there? Is the
okay.
thing. Exploration is really good, but like the actual story of it's just kind of there. Is it like terrible? It's not terrible, but
It's just there. It doesn't
it's
add.
just kind of there.
It doesn't add a whole lot. It's just there.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things you really don't need to play it.
Okay.
Like, you really don't. But it doesn't ruin the existence of the definitive edition because it is there. And yes, this is technically a remake. That's why I use the term shot for shot remake, because I couldn't literally see them changing anything in the story. It's like that good. If it's that good, and I think that tightly paced.
And from
But,
what
like,
I've seen from trailers, like I haven't played the game myself, but from what I've seen, it does look very gorgeous and beautiful.
Oh yeah, it is. My comparing to the Wii version
And the
it's
3DS version.
Well, I mean that's just. I mean,
I always have to bring that up because that port. Oh God.
What did they do to their faces?
Oh.
There's poor faces.
There's like that one shot that I always think of where Shulk just goes, ah, and you just see like a big old dot for his mouth.
Yeah, just a dot. They tried. Yeah, they really tried. But the definitive edition is an actual upscaled, just everything is a lot prettier. It also just flows better in terms of the combat. The UI has been revamped too, and it's much better. So it's not just that, it's just like the entire game just looks and feels better. So that's great. Though, and surprisingly, because of it being a very long and big game, it also is one of those games that encourages you to wait to do this sort of super boss stuff for your new game plus run.
Okay.
Yeah, it also has stuff that is designed for new game plus, and like the game when you boot it up will like start with, okay, so the way we want you to kind of intend to play the game is here's your story sort of quest, but also there's these side quests that are like kind of in your vicinity. Do a couple of those before doing that. Not all of them, but just do a couple.
Just do some.
Just do like some. Which is very much like, okay, I don't know how a lot of players are just going to be comfortable with that, because you're either going to get players that just don't care, because most of the time you get the extremes where they don't care about the side quests or they want to get everything done, and you kind of can't do that. You got to find some middle ground.
And it sounds like the game does a good job of telling you, hey, balance it out.
Yeah, like very, very early on, they're like, yeah, there's these side quests that you should probably do on your way, and a lot of the side quests can be completed very quickly.
Okay,
Um,
that helps a lot too then.
so yeah, that's also why I never got bored doing side quests, because either they'd be done very quickly, um, they're very clear, like here's where you need to go, we'll point to there, do something there, come back, boom, you're done. Um, or it's a new encounter, with like maybe like a powered up mook, or even just a different fight that you didn't see coming, and that can be rewarding in its own. It also helps that a lot of the that pretty much every single side quest you do has NPCs with actual character and like mini arcs almost. Like there's a lot of side quests where you just be going back to the same characters later in the just later in the actual story. There's even side quests that can only appear if you're in control of one of your party members and not Shulk.
Hmm.
It can only be completed by like having Dunban in your party.
Don't you mean Duncan?
Oh yeah, yeah, Dunkin' Donuts. That's Duncan over there. My favorite character.
my favorite Xenoblade character.
But yeah, it's just an amazing game. I can't recommend it more enough. But I'm technically not counting it as my game of the year because
Well, then what is your game of the year, pray tell?
that would have to go to Hades.
Wow, okay.
Which I know is like kind of basic now, but out of everything that I've played, which keep in mind, I'm the person that doesn't have a PS4, so maybe I mean, there's a very strong possibility that like it possibly could have been like Royal or something,
Or Final Fantasy VII Remake.
or Final Fantasy. Well, probably not Final Fantasy VII Remake because I don't have a strong attachment to Final Fantasy.
Oh,
So, yeah, sorry. But Hades is just that good. I mean, I already knew that Supergiant made good games, but I do think Hades is easily their most accessible game. In terms of best, I still think Pyre is better, but it's also a lot weirder. And it's not necessarily like one thing.
Define weirder.
So you think it might be a visual novel, but it's not a visual novel. In fact, it's like a sports game where you play as 3 characters on your side. There's 3 characters on the other side, and you got to get a ball to the other side. But there's also like kind of combat into it. But there's a very tightly woven story that can go in any direction depending on your actions. You can lose battles, and the story can still continue on.
Huh.
But yeah, it's very different. It's very different. It's like a little. I bet. I bet. Like if anyone is listening, if you really liked Hades, if you played Hades, you really liked Hades. Highly recommend going and checking out Supergiant's other games because they're all made with that level of quality. Like even Bastion, their first game, is still ridiculously good. So yeah, but Hades won me over, not because it's a very great roguelike, and over the years I've started to actually like roguelikes a lot more, but also because it happens to have a very deep and engaging story that uses the repetition very well outside of it being like, kind of like outside of just the humor of like, oh man, you keep dying, ha ha ha. But it uses, there's always constant sort of motivation, and there is a story that happens. It's not like the game just resets or whatnot. There, like, characters can still change. There's a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of dialogue for characters, which really surprised me. And while it isn't, well, on the surface, it doesn't seem like a very narrative driven game. It kind of is. So yeah, it's my game of the year for sure.
Okay.
What about you though? Do you have a game of the year
Well,
that came out this year and you actually played?
Well, it's probably of no shock. at all, but considering that I like a lot of, I've been getting more into SMT and Persona lately, but Persona 5 Royal is my game of the year. Who would have guessed? But that just stems to the fact that I think that the new stuff that they add, it adds a lot to the game. Things are a lot more streamlined than they already were in the original 5, and the new characters, Maruki and Kasumi, are great. And especially the third semester is like probably like the best arc in the game. Like I was surprised at what exactly that is about, and I can't say anything about it because that's spoiler territory, but it's really good stuff overall.
It's basically what Golden probably should have been.
Honestly, yeah, in some cases, because I mean, Persona 4 is probably still my favorite game, but Royal's kind of rivaling that because of what they add. But yeah, Golden is, I mean, my only issue with Golden is Marie, which seems to be some of people's problem with it because she only becomes plot relevant towards the end.
Yeah, and you have to max out her social link before you even get to that point where she actually becomes relevant.
Well, I mean, you kind of have to do that with 3 confidants in Royal in order to access the third semester. I'm not going to say which ones, but it might be obvious which ones that you have to do. But
the new ones.
Okay, well, yeah, two of the new ones, yes, and okay, fine, I'll say it. You have to max out Maruki, Kasumi, and Akechi in order to get
like he's an actual confidant this time.
Yeah, that too. I forgot about that. Akechi, they retooled his confidant, and now it's actually like a confidant, and it doesn't progress with plot, like with Morgana and Sai, which adds a lot to Akechi's character, by the way, and it actually made me like him this time around compared to my first playthrough of the original Persona 5, where I just did not like him.
Yeah, I'm on the boat where like I don't think he's a bad character, and I kind of like him. I just kind of don't like what they end up doing with him in the original Persona 5. Yeah. He's just kind of like, it's like
in the original,
it does seem like wasted potential.
Yeah, it's wasted potential. That was the main thing with me, and it also made him come off as like a whiny little brat because he wasn't getting his way too. So that also
like a downgraded Light Yagami.
Yeah. A downgraded Light Yagami with the mindset of Adachi from 4.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, but Royal is my game of the year because of all the reasons that I stated. It's really great. It's a very awesome upgrade to an already awesome game. So get it. It's good.
Yeah, and if you're one of the lucky ones, you could probably find it for like $20 because apparently it's always been on sale.
It's always going on sale.
I don't know why. They just have so many copies of it apparently.
And also weird flex, but I also got the Phantom Thieves edition, which is the special edition, which comes with an art book, soundtrack, and a lot of other cool little things. Also, the game in a steel case, a steelbook case, which is nice. Oh yeah, also a Joker mask. I forgot about that. It's sitting on display in my room, and I completely forgot that it was there for a second. Anyway.
All right then. Well, I think now that we have said our pieces on what our game of the years are, and just thinking about 2020, I still think 2019 was a better year for games. Looking back on it, but this was, I think, the best year for our backlogs. And
yeah.
And I mean, I know I can say that for me because like I finally got around to just playing a lot more. So so that's nice. Thank you. Thanks for finally getting No More Heroes on the Switch. So that's good.
And
I'm
that we
not.
still didn't get Travis touchdown as a fighter.
You know what? I'm fine with that. I knew that was a long shot. That was a long shot that was going to happen.
Almost
But
as long of a long shot with Gino, or you think
well,
Gino's a longer shot?
well, even then, Gino's been a character that people have been wanting for longer. That's the thing. But
Yeah.
Still, uh, uh, just being able to not have to break the bank to play No More Heroes 2 was enough for me. It's like I was not willing to spend like $100 for a Wii version.
Oh God, it goes for that much now?
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's incredible. I don't know why, because apparently in the UK though it's a little easier to come by. So I don't know.
That's weird.
But yeah, now you can just play the HD version, which just looks a lot better and also controls very nicely. So get that. That's my recommendation. If you have a Switch, No More Heroes, go play it. It's great.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what's your guys' game of the years? You got any of those that you've played? You can put them down in the comments of the YouTube, or just type in the comments of the website, thegumshoegamer.com. In case you guys don't know, I have a website and also a YouTube channel that I just post all these now. So yay! Yeah, that's a thing. I finally got around to doing that. That's one thing that I wanted to do at the beginning of the year, and just could never find a good way to properly integrate it. But I did now, so that's great. Since this is the last episode of the podcast in terms of for 2020, I do want to say that there will probably be some schedule changes moving into 2021, and that I'll probably be announcing that maybe on an update on the site, probably on New Year's Day or something. I'm just to keep you guys more informed of my plan moving forward with the podcast. So stay tuned for that. With that said, though, I hope you all have a happy new year. Thank God 2020 is over and we can look towards
the Lord.
We can finally look towards the future. And I want to thank my guest here, Nick, for coming on. He has his own YouTube channel too. You should probably check that out. There'll be links.
That's on YouTube at Clay Entertainment. You can also follow me on Twitter at Clay Entertain. Been working on Life of an Inkling, trying to get back into that. But I also post drawings that I do on my iPad, and I just post whenever I feel like I have the time. So yeah, check me out if you want to.
Yeah. And with that said, have yourselves a fantastic night and take care.